Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad. It's Black Thor and Puma and Rihanna. 4 days until the Super Bowl halftime show. Let's bring in ice water.
Do we have to? I vote not to.
Show yourself.
I vote not to. Look at that face, man. They said pictures worth 1,000 words. That is 3 million words right there, bro. 3 mil right there.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
3 million words right there. Look at that face.
It's called marketing, baby.
Here we go.
Called marketing, baby. What can I tell you, baby? There she go. All right. It's called marketing, baby.
All right. Let's go to the Super Bowl, man. Our thoughts and predictions. We've been holding off for a whole week talking about the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with ice water first, man. You got two brothers. I'm not talking about Kelsey brothers. I'm talking about Hurts and Mahomes going at it. It should be historic. What are your thoughts, your predictions on this particular game? Let's give it to the folks.
Man, look, it was really weird. I went back and I started looking at the statistics, and they're so similar in the games they won, the statistics and things like that. They're very similar in the way that they won games. But I'm going to tell you, it's crazy because Philadelphia for the longest time, or all season pretty much, has been dominant, right? They've been doing what they have, what they need to do. Even when the factor that they had suffered injuries. You know, when Jalen Hurts was out, they still kept rolling. They brought in a backup quarterback, kept moving along, and they're loaded at wide receiver. You think about A.J. Brown, think about Devontae Smith, decent running back, and also the defense is sick. Their defense is so crazy. They have 4 players that recorded over 10 sacks this season. 4 players, man, that's crazy. But then on the flip side, you flip over to Kansas City, and you know, I think Kansas City's playing with a chip on their shoulder. I really do. And you're like, well, they got Mahomes, they got all this and that. Why would they be doing that? Losing to Cincinnati 3 times in a row prior to their last win. People have been doubting them. We even on the show talked about how sketchy their defense is, and you can't count on them. And when they get into the playoffs, they're gonna be in trouble and all this other stuff. But for even from the standpoint of Mahomes being on a gimpy leg and Kelsey had back hurt and losing 3 other quality wide receivers, the defense, when needed, stepped up to the challenge and really did what they had to do against Cincinnati. So I think it's gonna be a very high octane game, if you will. It's gonna be a lot of action. Not maybe I don't know how many points it will be, but I think it's gonna be high octane. But we're gonna find out. But at the end, are we doing predictions or no?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, so I can get out the way, so Black Thor can talk about this. And I'm not saying Philadelphia can't win, but it's just some about that Kansas City and with Andy Reid, and I really think Mahomes wants to win this bad, because people were questioning whether or not they could do it without Hill, right? And so many other things, and guys dropping passes. It was not as easy as people thought. And I think Mahomes and Kelsey and the other guys, unless Philadelphia just has error-free football and their coach knows something that I don't know, something that we don't know about him, being the first time on this level, I'm going to go with Kansas City.
All right, Black, take it from here.
It's interesting, man. I didn't realize this, man, because I didn't know the history of the Philadelphia Eagles football coach. And what I found out recently is that when Andy Reid went to Kansas City, he was a wide receiver coach over there. Andy Reid did not retain him. And this cat has not forgot that. So he's kind of like, we've been waiting for this and want this, Andy Reid. Not that it matters what's going to happen on the field, but that's a little thing that I was like, okay. I'm going to pick up where Ice left off, man. I think Philadelphia, I think they're dynamic. I mean, their front 4, they rotate the guys. And like you said, they lead the league. A lot of those guys, 4 of those guys had 10 sacks. I mean, that cat, I don't know what 49ers were thinking, not blocking that brother with a blocker or a tight end and just let him light their quarterback up. But Kansas City's not going to do that. I think Philadelphia is strong offensively, defensively. I think they're talented. But there's something about the will of Kansas City, bro, that I think just people, and I said that, they drop all that stuff. And then you look up for some reason, and not it makes a big deal, but they're not favored in this game. it's like all year they had to kind of prove and show people who they are and just kind of really kind of ground it out. And there's something about Mahomes. I've seen him when he plays Cincinnati. There's something about him. It's like I have yet to see a player with his will. The last player I saw, and this is no comparison, I'm just talking about will, simply will alone, to basically not want to lose and do whatever necessary. The last time I saw a player like that was Michael Jordan, bro. Michael Jordan, man. Something about Mahomes, man. It's just like you think you got him, you think you got him. It's like a snake. You get ready to wrap your hand around his neck. He just slides away and slithers away and basically stabs you in the heart. And something else Kansas City quietly has done the past couple of years, they're fine-tuned what they've done. I know they lost Hill, but if you notice some of the games, Kansas City relying to run a little bit more. A couple of years ago, they were not a running team at all. Just give it to Pat, let him do what he got to do. They basically they were relying to run, and another thing, they will dump it down. That wasn't Kansas City. So I'm happy for Philly. You know, I'm happy that they made it here, and they might even win the game. But if you're asking me to basically say who I believe when you put the match together, the will of Mahomes, Kelsey is just a little bit for a lot of for teams, and Andy Reid, the enemy. They have a way, bro. If you take this away, they go give something else. If you take that away, they find a way to do something else. Them two together, when they put that head down, they come up with something, man. And I believe this Super Bowl means a lot to them. It's almost like they want to win this and just trying to retire. To me, this one means a lot. They lost the other one, but this one, it's like they've been grinding for this, not for this season. Ever since they lost the last one, they've been grinding to get back here and get this one, man. It's hard to believe that at the end of the night, they're not going to hoist the trophy. So I'm going to take Kansas City, bro.
Yeah, I can't say much more than what you two said, and I agree with the Kansas City pick. I do like Philadelphia. I appreciate what they've been doing, but one of the things that stood out to me in this whole process was um, how the Kansas City defense has been stepping up for the last few weeks, and I don't think people have been talking about that. We've been talking about Mahomes and all the offense, but they haven't been talking about that. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but um, the enemy's been talking a lot at the podium, which makes me think that this may be Andy Reid's last hurrah, because you don't see him talking as much, but you see the enemy behind the podium talking about Mahomes, talking about the offense, things about that, and that may kind of tie into why they seem like they want it more than they did in the previous years. That the last time they were there and they lost. So I got to go with the Kansas City pick too. Not because I want them to win. It's just to seem like it's their time. They kind of let one go. They appreciate being there. They know what it takes to get there and what it takes to win. And it just seems like they're not going to let this slip out of their hands again. I'm looking forward to a good game. Of course, I'm looking forward to the halftime show. But I think this will be a good game between two quarterbacks. The question I have to both of you is, when Philly gets there, I mean, they have a couple of guys that have been on that last team. Will the moment get too big for them not being there? Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you have interesting enough. I think you don't have a team over there that's egocentric to me. They're just not that way, bro. They don't tend to kind of fly on that ego more about me than the team. If I look around the landscape, I don't see that. And I will say this, man. Part of the reason, too, I don't think that's going to happen. Jalen Hurts, bro. You think about what this cat has dealt with, and he's always even killed. Remember that at Alabama, the ball was taken out of his hand. Out of his hand. He had to go to another school, Oklahoma, and kind of basically fight his way into the NFL. And even last year, when he got the full range of startership, they basically questioned him, and he kind of no, I don't see them basically succumbing to that, man. I think they realize it's all about business. You got plenty of time in the offseason if you win to do what you got to do. When I look down that roster, I just don't see it, bro. I mean, I don't see. I think these cats they're ready to play. They realize what's in front of them. No, I don't think the moment's gonna be too big.
Ice.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're going to be okay. I do think, though, at some point, if they fall behind, you might see a little doubt, or not so much doubt, but they might feel a little urgency, right? Because you know what Kansas City can do, what they're capable of doing. And the Philadelphia defense at times, particularly when guys were hurt, they've been shown to be a little bit vulnerable. So if you can score on them and keep it going, might put a little more pressure on Hurts. But I think for the most part, they'll think to be okay. You got to also realize too that they have some veterans, the guys they picked up along the way. Like imagine at the last minute they went out and they picked up a Ndamukong Suh. Really? How the hell you do that? Do that. You already got 4 dudes got 10 plus sacks, and then by the way, on our rover is Ndamukong Suh. I mean, even if he has lost a lot of what he had, I mean, he's still good for a play. He can do something or whatever, and he has the experience. So I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that because I remember the Dallas game against Philadelphia. Even though they didn't have Hurts, that defense folded. That defense folded against Dallas. So it was that was a big game that they needed, and that defense kind of didn't show up. So we'll see. We'll see how that kind of pans out. Let's go to the NBA, man. We'll talk some NFL football a little bit later with some coaching changes, things of that sort. The big news, of course, Kyrie. I didn't think this was going to happen. But I'm sitting in North Carolina. I'm looking at my phone, got an alert, Kyrie to the Mavericks, and I'm like, what? Black? not only give me your eye test of the NBA, but Kyrie to the Mavericks, and there's only one basketball over there. So that's all I'm gonna say there.
I'm gonna throw you a little surprise before I go there, man, if you don't mind, because I have this cat here from time to time I've taken shots at, and that's what we do. That's what I do. But I've always done it in love and out of respect. And I want to congratulate LeBron. I really do, bro, because when you think about this, I'm not even going to talk about the feat. I don't want to focus on that because that's amazing what he accomplished. But I want to go way back and congratulate him for this. This is a young man that came out of, high school? There's no other player that came out of high school or any college with more expectation than what he had put on his shoulders, bro. Think about this. LeBron, if I'm correct, wasn't raised by his dad, was raised by his mom. And with all that expectation, he has come under it and flourished and exceeded it and went way beyond. Has he done some things that, over the course, it's not small things I might have disagreed with? Have he shown to be selfish, whatever? All that may be true, but at the test of time, to be a 37, 33, and whatever he is, man, he's remarkable to say the least. And that I want to salute him for because that brother has done it, man. You think about some cats have come in and gone since he's been around. Some cats come in and been knuckleheads and got involved in dumb stuff. LeBron has always stayed above that and always done the right thing. And congratulations, man, really. I mean, from me to you, I'm going to give it to you, boss, because you deserve it, man. I know the points are there. Pass me that to Jabbar. To me, I see you bigger than that. I see you much, much bigger than that, bro. For a lot of reasons I just spoke of. With that being said, man, you're right. I look at that, but I'm going to tell you something, man. I look at that and I go, at first, you go, yeah, they only got one ball. But Kyrie, when he's on the court, has proven he don't mind relinquishing to someone he trusts, KD. He doesn't mind moving out the way to someone he believes that can do their thing. Now, for me, for Dallas, man, with Jason Kidd, if they can find a way to shore up their defense, they might have something. I'm not saying championship. But now, if you roll through, and Luka has been killing him by himself. Let's get real, bro. That cat's been killing him by himself. He finds a way to put a whole season together, stop, getting injuries, injury prone, basically up some cheeseburgers, get in shape, and do what he got to do and put a whole season together. He's going to win some MVPs, bro. There's no way. If he starts to play some defense, he's going to win some MVPs. So you put that together with Kyrie Irving. If he has his head right, he comes in, and on one night they kind of rotate and balance, bro. You got to kind of I have to see it for what it is because think about this last year. They made it to the conference finals without Kyrie. So to me, when I really started pulling back the layers and thinking about it, I was like, damn, they might be on to something, bro. They might be on to something. I mean, realistically, if he decides to stay there for a couple of years, they put some pieces around them, some young, athletic, go get the ball players around them. Don't let them pick up another, veteran. They don't mind to get dirty, going down there, getting dirty down there. I don't know, bro. Because if you look at the West, remember there's a time Utah was in the league. Mm-hmm. You look at the West right now, I thought Golden State was going to want. I don't know if Golden State really wants it. So who should they be afraid of? Who should they be afraid of? Because Phoenix and the rest of those teams, they can't beat them for the most part. When they're on, I don't know, bro. I mean, this might be the steal of the century, and I'm gonna say this and get out of the way. I'm amazed, man. So it's one of two things: either Kyrie was a bad man, or New Jersey just don't want him. Because I've never seen a trade happen that fast. I've never seen a trade where a player said, "Trade me." In 24 hours, you're out here. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah,
You name me this. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think they he wanted a 4-year extension. They were willing to give him a 2, but then the owner said, "I'm not trading him where he wants to go. I'm trading him where it's going to benefit us." And Ice, your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, again, I want to follow up what Black Story said about LeBron James. Being from Ohio, bro, I watched him. First time I saw him play basketball, he was a sophomore in high school. No tattoos, skinny as a rail, was amazing. Saw him drop 31 against Oak Hill Academy in Virginia, the #1 team in the nation. Was amazing. He just kept going ever since. And what I found amazing, besides the passing the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is the all-time leading scorer, is the dude is like 4th in assists, bro. You know, nobody talk about that. And he's more Magic than he ever will be Jordan. I've always said that. And I don't think he gets enough recognition for the playmaker that he can be. And a lot of people see it differently, but he came from a tough situation. People were always coming after him, particularly when he was in high school. When he had, I think he got a truck, a Hummer, and they suspended him for a couple games because they were like, "Well, how did you get that? You know, your mother doesn't have the money, and this, that, and that." And they had a big old hearing, and the association here didn't know how to deal with it, and everybody was talking about it. So they finally reinstated him. But I thought about that too. I'm like, well, oftentimes other people give other folks of not of color gifts and things to kind of, and as an investment for the future, right? Like people get they go to the dentist, and the dentist like, you know what, I'm just gonna do a little something for you because I know it's gonna come back to me. Nobody says a word. But because it was LeBron James and his mother might have been struggling to have that type of money, basically what you're doing is giving a person a loan, and you know they're gonna pay it back in a couple of years. That's the American way. But they made a big deal about it. And I was like, wow, really? But eventually, regardless of the fact, he showed them all that it didn't matter. And here he's here. I'm glad for him. He has been a pretty good example. I mean, there's some things you think about it, but in regards to from a kid from Ohio, representing and doing what he did, and the fact that he came back to Cleveland and won that championship, that's a real man. Because I'd have told the owner to go F himself for real. After all of the criticism and the ad and stuff, ain't no way I would have come back and won a championship. But it wasn't about the man. It was about showing the man that he had respect and love for his city, and he got it done. And because he wanted the fans to experience that for the longest time. And he came back and did that. You could never take that away from him. That's one of the biggest accomplishments, because I don't know about other places. 2 things we love in Ohio. We love our sports and we love our damn funk music, bro. We love our music. That's what we love. And the fans love that too. And he understood that. But moving on to the situation, let's get into this Kyrie thing, man, because Puma and I have been chopping it up. We've been texting like a mug, and he was in North Carolina. We were talking and kind of chopping it up. I'm gonna say this. I mean, I tried to defend Kyrie for the longest time. I'm always trying to like, just because he didn't take the vaccine, no big deal, whatever. Y'all tripping, you gotta let that man, be where he is, leave him alone. And just back and forth. And when he still wants to play, he's still one of the best players in the league. We have like 27 points a game right now. I mean, even with Durant out, he was doing whatever. And then when they came for him with all of that stuff about the anti-Semitic stuff, I thought that was kind of, it is what it was, other people doing some things, but you just came for him. So I started to change a little bit. But then I noticed when Durant said he wanted to be traded earlier, Kyrie's like, well, I'm still here. And then he says, not only that, I want an extension. And this was earlier. He's like, all right, cool. Maybe Durant will change his mind. And they're like, well, we're not trading you, Durant. We can't get our value back. We're not doing this. Okay. And then I was like, well, okay, Durant's out. Kyrie's cool. Then they start talking extension again. And then they were talking about something to the effect that they were trying to, and the Nets were trying to include more or less like incentives related to championships, right? And he wasn't feeling that. He was like, no, I mean, what y'all talking about? And then at that point, it was like, trade me. I want to be traded. And then I was like, what? You want to be traded? I mean, you going to leave your guy again? And that's what it seems like they're going to trade him. And then people like, why Dallas? I was like, it's simple. The Brooklyn Nets owner simply said, whoever he's talking to, I don't give a damn. You will not go to LA and play for neither one of them damn teams on my time. Because you know he's still under contract technically with Brooklyn. So why? Because you want to trade. Why would I trade you to a place that you want to feel comfortable, hang out with your homeboys and do whatever and enjoy yourself and come back while we over here struggling? Hell no. Nah. So he said, I'll trade you. I'm tired of dealing with you. I might have been wrong. It's been too much, but I'm going to trade you somewhere. Well, one, we're going to get something back for them. And if you really look at it, unless the Nets do something totally different, I think they did pretty well. They got a couple draft picks for the future. They also got Spencer Dinwiddie, who they had before. And then you got, the guy with 3 names, Vinny Smith or something to that effect, who's a straight up and down three nice small forward, plays great defense. And they talk about moving on for some other things too. But so Kyrie, you got what you wanted. You go down there with Jason Kidd and you go with Luka. And Jason Kidd is probably one of the few people that can probably work with him. But then again, you don't know. Because Kyrie is Kyrie. I thought somebody might be able to control Kyrie. Kyrie is only Kyrie. He always been Kyrie. But if he wants to play, they might do a little something. I'm still not convinced though, because as much, I know they made the Western Conference Final, but I think there was a little down year in the West, and not saying it's that much better year, but I just think that Kyrie believes, and I'm gonna get off this real quick because I don't even go to the standings right now. But Kyrie is we're talking about this the other day with my buddies. Kyrie is one of the type of players that Kyrie believes in Kyrie. Kyrie thinks he's one of the greatest of all time. He can run it. He even said it when he played with LeBron, like, yeah, you know I'm still one of them dudes. I'm that dude. So you kind of playing with me. There are only a few of them guys out there that's like that that have been in modern day basketball. There was Vinnie Johnson, the microwave that played for Detroit. There was World B. Free that played for Philadelphia. There was downtown Freddie Brown that played for the old Seattle Supersonics. There's a dude by the name of Randy Smith that played for the Buffalo Braves. These dudes, along with Kyrie Irving, feel like anytime they got the ball in their hand, and Russell Westbrook, let me get that too. Let me add them in there too. They feel anytime they touch the rock, they don't care if they had an all-star team with Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, whoever, in their prime, I can pull any damn time I want to. And that's his mindset. So Luka, yeah, okay, you cool. And he was going to run with him a little bit. But I guarantee you, there's going to be a point where that dude's going to be like, you ain't better than me. I'm the dude. What's going on, the dude? You better recognize it. And I think that right there is going to cause a major problem. But then again, I think the Nets owner did it right. If he wanted to leave, you didn't want him to sit out the rest of the season. So trade him somewhere that you would get something back from him and not worry about it. Because think about it. He's going to be a free agent after this year unless he signs an extension or something with Dallas. And if he doesn't do that, I can see him running straight to LA. That's what he's going to do anyway. So why sit there, have him moping and whatever he's doing over in Brooklyn? And when it's a wrap, let it go. And just talk to Durant. Look, man, we're doing the best we can. You got 3 more years on your contract. Let's try to improve this and do something better. And maybe say what you want to about Durant, but unless he hurt, he on the court. He come to play. Granted, he may not want to be there, but he come to play. And if I'm that owner, I'm on the phone right now. What is it, Wednesday, 7:52 p.m.? I'm calling Toronto. I know they got a lot of loose pieces. What the hell do y'all want to give me Siakam? What you want? I want Siakam. That's another baller. I'm just making calls. I need 2 more guys, or at least 1 more guy, because Curry and the other guys can play too. I need Siakam with me, and they talking about trading him anyway. That's what I do. Good luck, Kyrie. We'll see. I don't believe it. You done burned me too many times, brother. As long as there ain't nothing crazy and they ain't coming for you about treating you wrong as a man of color, I'm going to let you lay, bro.
Here's what I find to be interesting, man. Here's a cat since Kyrie got traded. What's his name? Cam something?
Cam Thomas. Yeah, I was going to mention him.
I'm trying to say, so if I'm Durant, I'm sitting there sounding like going like, wait a minute. If I could play with this dude, I'm not, and it's like, I said this years ago when Kyrie and them came. I don't know if you remember when they came to Brooklyn at first. That team was talented.
Yeah.
They kind of chopped that team up, and it became the Kevin Durant, Kyrie show. If they're on the floor together, that's all you're going to see. If they're not on the floor, one of them on the floor, give them the ball. If I said it then, I'll say it again. If Durant realizes, hey, what's around me? I don't have to be the man. Let that young cat go get it. I'm still going to get mine. And let those young players flourish. You might have something, bro. Stop running around trying to make up this dream team. And I don't care if Kyrie ends up in Las Vegas, or Los Angeles, they're still not winning nothing, bro. People act like just because when Bron merged, but championship. No, bro. Sometimes it's your time. And there was a time in Cleveland. That time is gone. You can't even light that candle anymore. But that young cat Cam, he's been on the team the whole year, but guess what? He's been smothered. Smothered. Let that cat play. You tell me the last time Kyrie in a net uniform scored points like that. I'll wait. A lot of times we talk about Kyrie based on what he's done, not what he's doing. So these past 4 weeks scoring 27 points, I'm not impressed because you want a new contract. If I want a new contract, I'm going to score 100. So I'm just going to say what it is. You got a young cat there, bro. I don't know how he got to Brooklyn. You draft him or whatever. If you drafted him, you draft him for a reason. Let him play. Get out of his way. I look at Durant watching him smile. I'm like, bro, I'm not. If I was Durant, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I might say, hey, put a little pepper here, maybe bring this here, yes. But for the most part, bro, if you are who you say you are, make it happen.
Yeah, Cam Thomas is the highest scorer in Oak Hill Academy, and the high school he came out of. LSU was killing him, 23 points a game, and he got to Brooklyn, and you didn't hear from him, but he could ball. He could flat out ball. He could flat out score. So I wasn't surprised with him scoring, as many points as he's scoring, in the last 3 games because he could flat out ball. I watched him at LSU. He could ball. And let's go through the stance real quick. You got Boston with a 1-game lead. Milwaukee been 8-2 in the last 10 games, followed by Philly, Cleveland, Brooklyn. They're taking a slide. Miami is moving up. New York is at number 7, Atlanta number 8 on the Western Division. Denver is up by 4.5 games over Memphis. Memphis took a 2-8 slide, so they're falling, and they're falling rapidly. Sacramento is at that 3rd spot, followed by LA Clippers, Phoenix, Dallas, Golden State at number 7, and New Orleans is just holding on with the 3-7 record in the last 10 at the number 8 spot. But look at Utah at number 10. I'm so shocked that they are at number 10. But, and Portland just can't get out its way. And they're at number 12. You're always expecting Portland. And they have a guy named Simons, who's a baller too, that doesn't get a lot of recognition. But it should be interesting coming up to the All-Star break. Any other thoughts, Ice, on the NBA?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if they're going to have any more trades move, guys moving along, because you see a lot of things happening. Trying to see if Jay Crowder is going to land somewhere. For instance, they talked about Milwaukee for the longest time, possibly talking about moving Westbrook around somewhere if they can. The Lakers picking up, bringing back D'Angelo Russell. What? So moving all kind of pieces. Mike Conley could possibly go somewhere in that deal as well to Minnesota. So there are a lot of other guys. They'd mentioned to the point where they're ready in Utah. They're ready to trade everybody but 3 players. They say anybody else. They got one of the younger guys that they got from the deal in Cleveland. They got marketing and one and a big center. Other than that, anybody can go. So, and I want to see what Toronto's going to do, because they had mentioned that a lot of people were on the Cubs too, as far as Van Cleef also, and they said not Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and also just trying to move people along, and even possibly Gary Trent Jr., who I think is really becoming one of the best players at his position. So I love it because I like to see a lot of movement, particularly with teams that are not thinking they're in that place to move around. But I'm very ready for the playoffs. I say this, I said it before, and I'll say it again. I think one team in the East is going to be a very difficult out for a lot of teams. It will be a very difficult problem, and that's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. They may be in the 4th or 5th slot, you're not gonna want to see them dudes, man. They are playing some damn ball, and they added Mitchell, and you're right, Black Thor. When you think about the old Brooklyn team before, when they had Atkinson as the head coach, and then you had Dinwiddie was over there, and another brother that was balling his butt off, and they got rid of him, but he's in Cleveland now, Karis LeVert.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, Black, you got Candace gonna make history in the NBA, gonna call it NBA All-Star game. And John Morant and friends. John Morant is gonna let his friends get him right out the league. Them trying to turn NBA basketball into summer league with them on the court and all that other stuff. Your thoughts on the NBA or those stories, man?
I'm gonna jump with Candace Parker first, bro, because I still got a soft spot for Candace Parker. I saw what she said she's gonna play one more year. She moved from Chicago to Las Vegas, man. She's going down to play with the Aces, which is not a bad move, man. She's gonna fit in there well, and if you're gonna go for a championship, why not go there? There's been a lot of movement in the WNBA for that matter. Brandon Stewart is up here in New York now. She's gonna be playing for the Liberty. She left Seattle, and there's been some chess moves going on. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. To me, I think that's just scratching the surface, Candace Parker, bro. I mean, I'm happy. Congratulations on commentating the All-Star game. But when she decides to stop playing basketball, there's so many outlets she can basically walk into. I still believe ABC, Good Morning America, wants her. Mm-hmm. I think she's the next Robin Roberts. I don't care what anybody, if that's what she wants. But they kind of made that clear to her. There's definitely a job for her in the NBA. It's not the NBA as far as commentating something. So she's in a rare position. And I'm just hoping that she just, whatever she wants to do, enjoy it, because she's one of those that to where she has proven herself, and she's multi-talented. So yes, and of course, always good to look at, bro. I don't care what's going on. I mean, basically, you can show me Candace Parker, and I'm happy. That you ain't got to be putting no words, nothing saying. Just put it on the screen about it, man, too, and I'm good. I don't, some people want to be some things that we aren't. And Morant, bro, you better wake up and wake up quick, bro. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Your game, don't get me wrong. Your game is starting to basically escalate itself, and that's a beautiful thing. But, we learned a long time. My mom said it to me one way, and I'm sure we all kind of heard it, and we can mix it. But at the end of the day, you are judged by the company you keep. You're just judged by it, bro. You don't have to be doing it, but if that's your company, guess what? That's who you're judged by. If you get pulled over with a bunch of knuckleheads in the car, you're considered a knucklehead. You're not considered an NBA player. You're considered a knucklehead. So either you're going to wise up and understand what's in front of you and what you may want to do, or you're going to keep this same mentality and try to be something that you're not. And I just don't understand it, bro. I mean, I can't say I don't understand it, because that's what hype does to people sometimes. Sometimes we want to live a role that it's just not us. And half the people who live in that role, that's not them either. But they don't know nothing else to do. So pick your friends wisely. Understand where you are. Understand how hard you work to get here. I'm amazed, man, not only in sports, I see it in different sectors of our world. And I'm going to speak to us, people that look like me. You got people working hard to establish themselves in life and doing dumbass things to throw it away. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So maybe that's it, but realistically, bro, take some time. And I would hope someone can pull their young cat aside and seriously talk to him. Someone needs to. I know some people are barking at him, but sometimes we need someone that can just basically take you behind, take you out to lunch, take you to dinner, do something, and just kind of basically say, you know what, man, you may want to try this instead.
Yeah, the first person that comes to mind is Mike Vick. Ice, Candace Parker, John Morant.
Yeah, congratulations to Candace Parker. You love who you love. I get that. You still broke my damn heart, and that's all right. You still fine. Broke my heart, girl. But that's all right. I got my girl. Yeah, anyway. But she's married too. Anyway, but moving forward, congratulations to her. It's a great feat. She is very talented. She's a hell of an ambassador for basketball in general and women's basketball. Brilliant individual, carries herself pretty strong. I would not be surprised down the line if she doesn't want to continue on TV. They kind of kick her up in some type of position in USA Basketball or NBA, whatever she wants to do. I think she would be great for USA Basketball, because they need people that really understand what it's like to go through those camps and what you have to go through to be on that level. And I think she'd be dynamic. I know like Grant Hill is doing that for USA basketball right now. I think she'd be a great person to be on that level as well. But congratulations to her. There's not too many people know more about basketball than her. And that's usually different for players. Because some players can coach a little bit or they can talk about the game. The way she breaks it down is it doesn't matter about if it's men or women. She tell you, look, when you go on that back screen, you got to make sure that you're there and you got to make sure that you grab and see the person behind the pick because you'll miss it. They can go back on the other side and they're going to score a layup. And that's her language. It's so simple to her. It's natural. And that's what makes her great from that standpoint. John Morant, you know, I've heard after Tupac and Biggie Smalls died, Snoop Dogg said, you can't play gangster, bro. You know, it's you either a rapper or you a ball player, but you can't play gangster because gangsters don't care. They're jealous. They go after you. They want what you want. They don't care who you are. You know, they want to take what you have. And granted, even if you have a couple homeboys that's kind of perpetrating fraud behind you, and I don't know them dudes, but, you know, when you go into an arena or whatever you're doing and you pointing lasers at people like, you know, you shooting guns at people and, you know, just all kind of stuff, man. It's just really childish. And from a dude that's that level, and I know, depends on where you come from, Allen Iverson had to learn this the hard way too. You can't carry everybody with you, bro. I know they cool and you go home and drink the brews and eat, you know, maybe, you know, fire up a few things and, you know, eat some gummies and some edibles and all that. I mean, I ain't mad at that. The game recognized game, right? I mean, you still can be down without having to carry the whole load with you, right? You can always be down when you go back. But to have that entourage going around, this sends a bad message. And you can do what you want to, but we know how the league is. Sooner or later, you get out of control, they will sit you down. Ask Allen Iverson. You know, they will sit you down because nobody's ever been bigger than the game. Ask Michael Jordan when he tried to buy the Wizards. Nobody's bigger than the game, bro. Ask Pete Rose in baseball. Nobody is bigger than the game. If you get out of control, they will miss you. They will talk about how great you were, but they will sit your ass down. Know that. Because you just, one, like you said, one dude don't stop the show, you just delays it, and they will find another.
Yeah. I'll be really listening because I can see that this is going in the wrong direction. And if any of you ever watched the documentary on Michael Vick and how his boys just deserted him, and folks had to come to his rescue to give him money just to live. So I mean, you gotta lose. You can't take everybody with you. You just can't take. You want to, but you just can't. Let's go to college basketball. And man, I saw the North Carolina Duke game, and that was the most lackluster rivalry game that I've ever seen in my entire life. Both teams stink. They lost the next game right after that, got blown out twice. But let's go to Purdue. I don't know why Purdue is number one. They lost their game, but they're number one, followed by Houston, Alabama, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee, UCLA at number 7. Virginia, who's going to be playing Duke on Saturday, they're number 8, followed by Kansas. Yeah, I don't like Kansas this year. Really don't like Kansas this year. But they're at number 9. And I'm just going to stop at number 10. But there are some notables under 10 with Iowa State, Kansas State, Xavier, Indiana. I'm really loving the Indiana team. I'm really loving the Indiana team. But I'm going to go to black first because I always get guys, I'm going to black first. And your eye test on college basketball, sir.
You know, I realized this, man, after last week's show that y'all are gunning for me this year. Ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. And I love it. I love it, man. I love it. You know, it's interesting. You touched baseball in Kansas. They're not who they were last year, but you know something? They're not that bad. I had a chance to watch them a little bit, chance to watch Texas. I feel a little different about them from time to time. Kansas State, kind of had a chance to view them. And Indiana, I saw a little bit of them as well. And I agree, Indiana they're on to something. Whether it's going to be this year or not, I'm not sure. But even watch Purdue. I watched Purdue a little bit, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, there's sometimes some of these teams that I'm kind of really getting a chance to pay attention to, I don't see it. Bro. It's just I don't really see it. You see something, but I have yet to come across that one team yet. I'm like, yeah, that this is it. And that's not to say these teams aren't good, maybe in the top 5 or the top 10, but it just seemed like they're not what I'm used to seeing as that team that's going to kind of just take it and go. Take it and go. You can say, you look at this, well, yeah, this team is ready to take it and go. And I mean, it's going to make for a good tournament, without a doubt. It's going to make for a good tournament. But I guess that's parity. Maybe it is, but it just seemed like it's not there, bro. Exciting play, but it's just not almost full. 3/4, but just not full. So that's my interpretation what's going on now. There's some other teams I want to kind of catch up with and pay attention to. But I will say this, man, in turn of the ice, that big center of Purdue, I'm not saying he's pro ready or nothing that nature, but that cat got a little nasty to him. I like that. He got a little nasty to him. A little nasty.
Two teams I like to mention that jumped in the top 25. Rutgers jumped 11 spots to the number 24 spot. And then you got North Carolina State, who's jumped up into the 22nd spot, jumped up 10 spots to get there. Those are some teams from the Big Ten and the ACC that's jumping in. Auburn was in last week, and they dropped out really quick. Your eye test.
Yeah, the one thing that really surprised me, because I've been texting you when I see some upsets or something like that too. I'm trying to, maybe it's because the way what they feel about Purdue. Purdue loses to Indiana, they still stay number one.
Yeah.
Then you keep Houston and Alabama up there too. I'm like, didn't they lose? Sitting there going like, wait a minute, Houston and Alabama lost, and maybe I don't think anybody else is worthy of being number one. But there's a lot of upsets from the standpoint of more parity. I know Puma, you got to see that upset when that Gonzaga took that L, right? And they lost us with the St. Mary's, so they lost. And as Blackthorn said, there's a lot of teams that's like on the fence. They're back and forth. Like, I watch Iowa lose one night, then I watch them earlier beat Indiana. Then Indiana turns around, beats Purdue, number one in the country, and then Indiana turns around, loses to Minnesota. But then they come back around and they beat Rutgers. So it's a lot of parity going on. And look at Michigan State. Depends on who they play. They can really give you some problems, and watch Michigan be up and down. I don't think they're going to do a lot this year, but they win some games that they think they can. And then you look at, everybody's talking about Tennessee and Virginia, then Tech. One team I do like TCU. I think if they get in, they cause some problems too. TCU cause some problems. And I don't know if you're going to bring it up, but I'm going to say it before you do. I mentioned to you earlier about North Carolina, man. You said you guys watched that game. And if your center has to come out and threaten the players, like, if you don't want to be here, get the hell out, then something's wrong. I'm looking at the coach now because, they started out late last year, didn't know what they were going to do. Then they caught fire. Maybe that's what they think they're going to try to, turn the flame up again the way that they did and make a run. But something about it, because one of the main reasons why I selected that team to go as far as I did is because I saw the talent. And I saw the possibility of to get collectively how they could cause some major problems. I still think, from a talent standpoint, they match up with anybody in the country, man.
I think we need to stop hearing that.
No, I'm with that. But I'm saying the talent, you can't take away the talent. But the mentality is the problem. If they don't want to put it to effort, because I always say all the time, you can have the best players in the world, but if you don't have the mentality or want to play well together, and I know you keep hearing me say this because I know you was a big Philly fan, but I always think back as a kid when Philadelphia had that loaded team, Dr. J, George McGinnis, World B, Free, Caldwell Jones, Henry Bibby, Doug Collins. They were loaded, and they lost to Portland with the great Bill Walton. And it was just because they didn't play well together. They had to go out and get Moses Malone to win the championship. But it comes back to the point of chemistry. You got to win it. You just can't come out here and, it would be different if it was one game, right? But the tournament is a whole different monster. And people get hot like they did, and that's how you win. But they don't want it. They will be shown the door very quickly. And I think with that being said, there's going to be a lot of people looking at the coach going, well, hell, if they made that run last year, how come you didn't make a little run, or at least be somewhat decent this year?
That's
you gotta look at that.
That's my
question. Why can't you motivate these dudes now? You like this close from winning that championship. In fact, you like, well, damn, did y'all playing like y'all won that championship?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they have 7 games left. There are not too many games left with the season left, and I don't see it. They're facing a murderous row in the ACC with Clemson, Miami, North Carolina State. They're facing a murderous Virginia. I don't think they're gonna make it. Same with Duke. Duke is weak. They're just weak. Even though they won that game Saturday, it was like I was sitting there with the Django, his dad, my dad, sitting there watching and going, "What's going on? Why are these teams?" I mean, it was the worst game I've seen in a rivalry game between them, and they're gonna play in a few more weeks. But that game was like so lackluster that folks were falling asleep during the game. It just wasn't good, and it's not what you're used to in watching a Duke North Carolina rivalry. No intensity. It was just if you want the game, you can have it, and I'm just not with that.
I wonder, man, that being said, because if I'm correct, North Carolina may never make the tournament, bro. And you got to wonder how that stands for Hubert Davis.
Yeah.
I think at some point, I think both universities, bro. Granted, you have a little fall off with Coach K not being there, but I gotta believe it won't be long for both those coaches, both those universities, to make some changes at the head, bro. Because North Carolina is not used to lackluster. They're not, man. They're just not. And Duke ain't gonna settle for long either. They're not. You can't have what you had for years and just basically not there. So someone's gonna pay the price because the alumni for both universities, they're not gonna be happy. And they don't, rebuilding now, reloading, nobody wants to hear that anymore. Yeah. And no sport don't exist. No, we don't need to do that no more. It's just, so it's gonna be interesting to see, especially if they don't make the tournament. When the last time either one of those schools missed the dance?
Yeah, and I thought it would have been last year. They're having them at North Carolina as the number 9 seed. I don't think they've earned a number 9 seed. They have not earned a number 9 seed. I don't even think they should be in the tournament. And like I said, they're going through a murderous row of the ACC. They got to play Duke again. They're going to play Virginia. They're going to play North Carolina State. They're going to play Clemson. Those are some good teams. And if they can't beat Wake Forest, they're not beating these teams. They may have more than 10 losses on their record. Same as Duke. Let's go to questions from the squad. There might be some questions with Steve Wilkes and Sean Payton, but we'll see. Ice, what's your first question?
We can go right there. I want to see what you guys think. The factor that San Francisco acknowledged what was going on, and they were quick to swoop up Steve Wilkes as a defensive coordinator.
Black?
I saw where Dave Tipper, basically said he made a mistake in hiring the other football coach who's been basically suing him to get paid for his money. And don't get me wrong, Frank Wright is Frank Wright, but you made another mistake, bro. You made another. I'm gonna take the word bro out because I don't want any inference that you're cool because you're not. You made another mistake. You really did, man. Sometimes, you look for things outside and it's right in your own refrigerator, man. It's right in your own refrigerator. I don't think no one else on that staff could have came in halfway during the season and put you in a position of that organization like what's the name Wilkes did, bro. And you played around. You wanted what's the name to come in from Michigan. He was never leaving Michigan. You got played. You got sucked into that in the middle of the season. And I said then, well, Wilkes, he still would have got this job because there's other people realize his talent, what he's worth. And you decide to basically bring good luck. You have no quarterback. And he still almost made the playoffs. Watch, Frank Wright had quarterback after quarterback after year and couldn't do well in Indianapolis. What makes you going to do different in Carolina? He had a guy come off television and win more games in the season he could have in the season. So if you're dumb enough, extremely dumb enough to hire him and think you did something, good luck. And you're right. San Fran know what he's worth. I mean, they lost a damn good a defensive coordinator. And they replaced him with another great one. Because they see talent. They don't see color. They see talent. So good. I'm happy that Wilkes is there. And then hopefully at some point, another team, if it's not San Fran, he moves into the head coaching position, gives them an opportunity. Because, come on, bro. What more does it take? And I venture to say, if that was someone else, a white man that did what he did in Carolina, man, he'd have been his name would have been rolled around for so many different jobs It'd have been sickening. So let's get real. Let's get real. I know we talked about numerous times the Rooney Rule. I'm not gonna go that deep, but it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. What more does one man have to do to show, hey, I deserve to be? There's not all black on Carolina Panthers. He got those cats to play. Much different than that idiot you hired out of what, Temple? That you're paying, you got to pay millions to? Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, I was just in Carolina. They are not happy. They are not happy with this move. And then he admits that he made a mistake. Oh, you're gonna have to eat that. You're gonna have to eat that. But they are truly not happy. I can't make more remarks than Black just made. But yeah, you played Steve Wilkes, and San Francisco swooped him right up. You just lost a big time coach. He could have been the head coach, and you just lost a resource, and you might lose the players in the process of how you handle business. And so that's the thing that they don't talk about, is that when you lose a coach like that, who the players bought into and they almost made it to the playoffs, you're going to lose some team members who are saying, you know what, maybe this is not the place that I want to go to, especially if you bring another coach in that is not going to bring it the way he brought it. You're going to set that franchise back for a number of years. Ice?
Yeah. I'm glad Wilkes was able to land the way that he did and where he landed. Plus, too, think about it this way. You're now putting Wilkes on a team that really is almost championship caliber, right? So you put him on a team with guy playmakers, with Bosa and, you know, some of the other gentlemen over there. And now you take him over there with talent, and he's going to get an opportunity to really show you how good he can coach. Not saying that Carolina was that mediocre, but the fact that he rallied them in such a manner, and now you're going to have these same guys. You got more talented players over there rallying behind him as a defensive coordinator. I think it was just a brilliant move for San Francisco because they're trying to up it, you know, trying to make a move up. Be interesting to see what they do in that quarterback slot, but to have options is a beautiful thing. But I think they're getting ready to try to make a serious run. And the best way to do that is to lock down the positions and coaching positions where everything's solid and guys come in with, because you know San Francisco have a chip on their shoulder because they became, you know, they ran, everybody wasn't healthy, they got people back and things just starting to come together, and I think they're gonna have a little chip on their shoulder. I think there's definitely a team that you want to watch out for next year.
Black?
Yeah. But I will go with Sean Payton. I'll say this, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I like the way he came in. Because he came in and basically said what's name is doing, he ain't doing it no more. What Russell Wilson doing had his own quarterback coach that came in the facilities. Think about that for a second, bro. The season you had, what was he coaching you up on? And I mean, when the last time anybody hired their own quarterback coach to come into facilities? So yeah, that alone, man, when he took that step and to come in, I got to give him credit, man. I don't know one thing about Denver. I applaud them to an extent, but to me, Denver has spent a lot of capital. You better start getting some results, bro, because you had to give up picks to get this head coach. When you could have waited in the offseason or next year, you might have fell into your lap. And I think that some teams are looking at Sean Payton. Do you really want to give up this for a head coach? Because at the end of the day, he can't tackle. He ain't run onto the field. He's not throwing the ball. So he better hit the ground running and give you some results. Because if not, I know you're the Walton family, but you all done threw a lot out between Russell, him, and some other things. If it don't work, man, you're gonna be sent back for quite a bit of while.
All right, what's your thought on Sean Payton and how he's coming in to the Denver Broncos job?
Well, you got to set the tone. I mean, you do. You can go there and just be a yes man, and you're gonna get the same results. But evidently, whatever was there wasn't working. You had an inexperienced coach before that was there. They kind of got him out there very quickly. They knew they thought they even said they made a mistake bringing him in. So you bring in somebody like Peyton, as Blackthorn mentioned, you had to give up a lot of picks. You had to give up some cash. You had to do a lot of things. So if you're gonna bring him in, he's gonna have to turn up the heat, and that starts with Russell Wilson. So players oftentimes, and even professionally, they do what you allow them to do. You know, Tom Brady had his own quarterback coach for a long time, would come in the facility till they shut that down. for a while after they were struggling a little bit. It's like, why is he even in here having input facilities? So if Sean Payton is going to come in and really make a difference, you got to show him the Sean Payton way. And those who are with it, great. Want to see Russell Wilson, he's probably almost forced to do that to have him around because he signed the contract. But other people, you got to show them the way. Or why? The question is, if you're not going to show them the Sean Payton way, why'd you come back to coach? I mean, that's my thing. Why did you come back to coach? I mean, you could have waited another year. Hell, you probably get a Dallas job if that's what you want. But evidently, if you're going to take the Colorado job, the Denver job, you had to make some changes because people are going to be like, why not wait a year? Get the Dallas job. Anyway.
Yeah, one of the things I find it very interesting that Black, where did Sean Payton? He's on that who's coaching tree?
Bill Parcells, baby.
Yep.
And,
yeah, and if Russell Wilson doesn't get it together quick, yeah, it ain't gonna be good for him. So he's gonna come in because they asked him, were you aware of this? He said, no, I'm not aware of that, and we're not doing that. And you better. And that's really sad. When you had a coach and you had the season you had, why are you paying this person? Why is this person this extra person that you did? The offices he has outside the lock? No, none of that's going. I mean, I can see them tearing that office up right now. Like, this ain't your office. Who you think? You ain't part of this team. This ain't part of the team. I did see Bill Parcells just being reincarnated in Sean Payton, and he used to give Phil Simms the flux. Every quarterback he had, give him the flux, but he got the best out of him. That's what you want. So he makes it uncomfortable for you until you decide you want to play some football. He's gonna make it real uncomfortable for you in Denver. You ain't gonna be saying "let's ride" after all them games. You ain't gonna be saying that. Not with Sean Payton. And I'm pretty sure he's talking to Bill Parcells right now. Like, what do I need to get this guy in order? Because this is a little quarterback. I already had a little quarterback, made him a Hall of Famer. How do I get this guy to become a Hall of Famer? Let's go to one more question I want to ask about Jalen Hurts and the significance of two Black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. I'll go to Ice first, and then I'll go back to Black.
I think it's huge. You try to not to make it such a major deal, right? Because we want to respect them as quarterbacks first, but you almost have to look at it for what it is, with it being history and these guys going at one another. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Of course, it's during February, Black History Month, 28 days. So a lot of things are falling in place. I'm happy for both of them because a quarterback has always been a quarterback to me. I mean, it's good that you're a person of color. Well, you either can play or you can't, right? End of the day, when you can, you can paint it how you want to. You can say Warren Moon, and then we can say that great Black quarterback, or whoever you want to put in there. You either can play quarterback or you can't. And these two gentlemen can. And I really like it from the standpoint of Patrick Mahomes' dad, who's a former Major League Baseball player, is straight from around the way, man. You can just tell he's just cool as a fan, just really good guy. And he's really happy. And it's just the point of, you can see how his son is like, baby, and then his dad gets interviewed and goes, yeah, baby boy was doing this thing, baby boy. And you're like, wow. But the significance of this feat is huge, large like it was when you had the two head coaches squaring off. But at the end of the day, I hope they just do great things so we can stop calling them Black quarterbacks or African-American quarterbacks. Just saying great, talented quarterbacks.
Yes, sir. Black?
It's interesting. It is huge, man. But it's gotten to the point where I remember, just going over to baseball real quick when Dusty Baker spoke about what was going on in baseball with Blacks, and he won. I thought it was going to be more of a, a celebration of that, and it really wasn't. And I think it's come to the point to where, like I said, we notice it, but it's like it's how it should be. It's how it should be. It should not be basically, to where it's that high crescendo, because it should have always been this way. I think of these two quarterbacks here, man. I think about for years their style of play years ago was basically what Black quarterbacks were. Randall Cunningham, in a sense. Remember him years ago?
Yeah.
Randall Cunningham would get out of pocket. He had an arm, but he got out of pocket. And people that basically like him, those quarterbacks that was in college that was like him, the league wouldn't let come in. First because it was black. At the same time, because they want a big white guy to stand there like a tree and just rocket it down the field. And a lot of those quarterbacks, man, in the league, in the college at that time, they were more like Randall. So it hasn't been a progression, and it's great. I mean, I'm happy for them both, and they carry it well, man. They carry it well. But I'm glad to the point where we notice it. It's a beautiful thing, but it's not blown way out of proportion because this should be natural as I'm speaking to you here, and that's how it is this year for the most part.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win. I know I picked Kansas City, but it's a win-win for me. This is what I was hoping for: two black quarterbacks in a Super Bowl, because that was a position that was predominantly just white. And so I think about guys like Jim Harris. I think of guys who played in Super Bowl like Williams, Kaepernick, McNair, and Cam Newton, and all those quarterbacks. And so we just had one, and then maybe a white quarterback. And I don't want to make it too much about race, but it just shows how the game has evolved for African American quarterbacks. And so for me, it's a win-win situation where you have two quarterbacks that deserve to be there. They happen to be black, and the league has to take notice. And if you notice, a lot of teams are opening up their mindset and they're recruiting black quarterbacks to start on their football team. So it's a big thing. I know it may not be a big thing for everybody, but it's a big thing to me. But I think about Kaepernick, and I think about Williams, and I think about McNair, and I think about Cam Newton, and all those quarterbacks who played in the Super Bowl. And I know Williams won. We know one of these quarterbacks gonna win the Super Bowl and may get MVP. Last second shot, Black.
I'm going to, we gave flowers out earlier to Candace Parker. This happened a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of was quiet, didn't really get noticed. But Michael Strahan, man, got a store in the Walk of Fame, bro. Now big Giants fan, of course, Michael Strahan, but I'm just so proud of this cat, man. To look where he's come from, basically, when you think about, he didn't play football until his last year in high school. I think he grew up in Germany. His father was an Army brat. Grew up in Germany. His father sent him to Houston, Texas to live with his uncle for high school. And I think he played his last year of high school in football. And look where he's amounted to, man. Look where he's grown to, bro. And it's something to be said, bro. So, yeah, congratulations on the Walk of Fame. And it says, hey, man, when we decide to be serious with what we want to do and we're focused and we're about that life, there's no limitations. There's no limitations.
Ice?
Yeah, I have to think about Major League Baseball, and I think about the Hall of Fame and the writers and whatnot, and the factor that Scott Rowland is getting in. He got 76% of the vote. I'm saying to myself, I remember Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland was a good ball player, played a long time, but I'm like, y'all need to stop it. Yep. How in the hell can you not? I mean, again, lastly, put a asterisk on the 80s, bruh. 75, 80% of the players was on something, right? How in the hell can you put Scott Rowland in and not even consider Barry Bonds? Y'all better figure this out. Because I love Scott Rowland. I remember him playing third base for a number of teams, but he could not walk in Barry Bonds' shadow, bruh. I'm trying to tell you, I'm sitting there going like, what are y'all doing? Get it together. And last but not least, man, it's just one of the things. It's almost Valentine's Day, so I want to do something for the ladies.
What are you doing?
So, Rihanna, we want you to have a beautiful halftime show on Sunday, darling. Ladies, other ladies who are by themselves on Valentine's Day, Black Door's waiting to take your call. Just know it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And as I'm going to let Michael Henderson tell y'all.
In hopes that you will stay.
Kind of scared me for a moment there.
Well, you thought I was gonna sing, brother? I got skills.
No.
No. I was hoping you moved out the way again, but that's all right.
All right, can I get my last second shot?
You got it now, brother. The floor is
All
yours.
right. My last second shot is to LeBron James. One of the most encouraging things that I saw, I didn't get to see the game. I saw some of the highlights, but I saw a photograph of Wilt Chamberlain giving the mantle and the ball to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Jabbar returning the favor to LeBron James. Now I know before this they've had some words against each other, but I hope this is kind of the olive branch to get those guys together and talk about the game of basketball. Really kind of reshape that relationship, and hopefully Jabbar can give some significance to holding that record for over almost 40 years. It's a big deal. And anybody could say, you know, how LeBron got it, 3-pointers, all that other stuff. But I just thought it was a great gesture for Jabbar to be there. And I also feel like we should be honoring Jabbar too for holding that record for almost 40 years. That is a great feat. And so congratulations to the King. And we'll see if you can hold out and still play with Bronny and all that other stuff that you want to do and accomplish. But that's a great accomplishment, and congratulations, sir. That's our show. We'll see you next week.